The elite's blueprint for success. Most people spend their entire lives working inside systems they never truly understand. They follow instructions, chase credentials, wait for permission, and hope discipline alone will eventually create success. But the elite operate differently. They don't just work harder than everyone else. They think differently. While ordinary people focus on effort, the powerful focus on positioning. While most chase income, they build influence. While the public competes for attention, they quietly acquire access, networks, and leverage behind closed doors. And once you see the blueprint clearly, you start realizing success at the highest levels was never random. So before we go deeper, type "success is engineered" in the comments. And if you want more videos exposing the psychology of power, wealth, and elite-level thinking, subscribe now. Because the hidden rules shaping success are rarely taught publicly. The biggest lie society tells ambitious people is that success is purely about hard work. Work harder, less. Stay disciplined, outwork everyone. And while discipline absolutely matters, it's only one layer of the game. Because if effort alone created elite success, millions of exhausted workers would already be wealthy. But they're not. Why? Because the elite understand something most people never learn. Success is rarely accidental. It's engineered strategically through leverage, positioning, perception, and access. The average person enters life believing the system is mostly merit-based, study hard. But the higher you climb, the more you realize power operates differently at the top. Kongs open doors faster than resumes. Perception influences opportunities more than raw talent. Access changes outcomes before competition even begins. That's why elite families obsess over environments. Private schools, exclusive circles, high-level mentors, luxury social networks, prestigious institutions. Because they understand proximity shapes destiny. The people around you influence your thinking, standards, confidence, language, opportunities, and even your perceived value. And the elite protect those environments aggressively. Not everyone gets access. That exclusivity is intentional. Because once you control environments, you indirectly control outcomes. Look carefully at powerful individuals throughout history. Many were not necessarily the smartest person in the room, but they understood influence better than everyone else. They knew how to position themselves near power, near money, near opportunity, near decision makers. That positioning alone changes lives. The average person spends years trying to prove themselves after entering rooms. The elite focus on entering the right rooms first. That's the blueprint, and it extends far beyond networking. The elite also understand perception is a form of currency. People do not respond only to reality, they respond to signals, status signals, confidence signals, authority signals, scarcity signals. That's why luxury brands exist. Why powerful people control image carefully. Why corporations invest billions into branding. Why political figures obsess over optics. Because perception influences trust, and trust influences access. This is also why many elite individuals appear emotionally controlled in public. Emotional unpredictability weakens authority. The average person reacts constantly. Online arguments, emotional oversharing, public frustration, defensive behavior. But powerful people understand visibility magnifies weakness. So they become selective. Selective with words, selective with emotions, selective with access. Not because they lack feelings, because emotional discipline protects influence, and influence protects opportunity. The elite also think in terms of systems instead of isolated actions. Ordinary people often focus on immediate survival, paying bills, managing stress, getting through the month. The powerful think differently. How do I build structures that continue producing value over time? That's why elite individuals acquire businesses, assets, media influence, intellectual property, political relationships, and scalable systems. Because systems create leverage. And leverage multiplies outcomes without requiring equal effort. A worker trades hours for income. A system owner creates outcomes independent of time. That distinction changes everything. This is why wealthy families often become stronger financially across generations, while ordinary families repeatedly restart from zero. The elite pass down knowledge, networks, assets, strategies, positioning, access. Average people are often forced to rebuild from scratch every generation. That gap compounds quietly over decades. And perhaps the darkest part of the blueprint is this. The elite understand human psychology extremely well. They know people crave status, comfort, validation. Entire industries are built around controlling attention and behavior. Social media platforms engineer addiction. Luxury brands engineer aspiration. Advertising engineers insecurity. Political systems engineer emotional reactions. And most people move through these systems unconsciously. But the elite study patterns. Because the person who understands behavior often gains influence over the person driven by behavior. That's why emotional control becomes such a valuable asset at high levels of success. The less reactive you become, harder you are to manipulate, more dangerous you become in competitive environments. This is why elite individuals often appear calm during chaos, while ordinary people panic emotionally. Powerful analyze strategically because they understand crises create opportunities, economic crashes create discounted assets, public fear creates market openings, social instability creates power shifts, and those who stay emotionally disciplined during uncertainty often acquire the greatest advantages afterward. That's the blueprint most people never see. Success at the highest levels is rarely random effort alone. It's strategic positioning combined with emotional control, leverage, perception, and access operating together quietly behind the scenes. The uncomfortable truth is that the elite rarely depend on motivation. That's something sold heavily to the public. Motivational speeches, productivity hacks, endless inspiration. But elite-level success is usually built through systems so strong that emotions become less relevant over time. Ordinary people rely on feelings to stay consistent. The powerful rely on structure. They create routines, environments, and networks that make progress almost inevitable. And once you understand that, you stop romanticizing success and start studying its mechanics, because the elite do not leave important outcomes to chance. They engineer probability in their favor. They place themselves near opportunity constantly. They build relationships before needing them. They acquire skills that increase leverage. They protect reputation carefully. They think long-term while others think emotionally. That long-term thinking is one of the biggest separations between ordinary ambition and elite strategy. Most people sacrifice the future for temporary comfort. The elite often sacrifice temporary comfort to dominate the future. Meanwhile, powerful individuals often guard their mental environment with extreme discipline because they understand fragmented focus creates weak execution, and weak execution destroys advantage. The elite also understand a psychological truth most people ignore. The world often rewards confidence more quickly than competence. That doesn't mean competence is unimportant. It means perception influences opportunity before results are fully visible. A confident speaker attracts attention faster. A polished brand gains trust faster. A connected individual receives opportunities faster. That's why elite circles study communication, image, negotiation, and influence so deeply. Because human beings are emotional creatures pretending to be rational. And the people who understand emotional behavior quietly gain advantages everywhere. But perhaps the most important part of the blueprint is emotional detachment, not emotional emptiness control. The ability to think clearly during pressure, to avoid reacting impulsively, to separate ego from strategy, to remain disciplined when emotions become expensive, because one emotional decision can destroy years of progress. And powerful people understand that. That's why many elite individuals appear calm even during chaos. They know panic weakens judgment, and in competitive environments, weak judgment becomes vulnerability. Now, none of this means the elite are superhuman. They make mistakes, lose money, fox pressure, experience fear. But they often operate with frameworks most ordinary people were never taught to develop. That's the real advantage, not magic, not secret societies. Awareness of leverage, awareness of systems, awareness of positioning, awareness of psychology, awareness of how power actually moves in the real world. And once you begin seeing those patterns, you stop approaching success emotionally. You start approaching it strategically. That shift alone separates dreamers from builders. Usually, they're the ones who understand systems better than everyone else. And that's where we'll end this conversation. Until next time, protect your focus, protect your leverage, and remember, the world rewards effort publicly. Behind closed doors, it rewards strategy even more.